Welcome, everybody, to Pick and Roll. This is the NBA betting show that goes live every weekday, Monday through Friday, around 11:15 to 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time to give you NBA discussion, betting tips, and, of course, the official picks on the show. We go live from the Board YouTube channel, so please make sure you are subscribed to the channel to keep up to date with all the great content that we have coming your way. And if you're tailing the picks in the show, you're enjoying the content anyway, please remember to hit that thumbs up button. It does go a long way to supporting our brand, helping us get into more recommended pages with that organic YouTube growth. Yes, I did get a haircut. Thank you for noticing. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a different format. We are going to be going in different sort of schedule here. So apologies for yesterday. We found out after the show. That's our bad, not recognizing the line moved. Today, we're going to try to circumvent that, and we're going to be doing the official picks after the recap so that we can just mitigate the risk of anything changing on us during the show. But we will still start with a recap from yesterday's picks. There were two games that we had money in. First of all, we'll go to Anthony Davis, where we're going to be a little bit happier to talk about this. AD, I was at a bar watching this game. He was excellent all throughout this game. Covered this one with relative ease as the Lakers come back and they somehow beat the Indiana Pacers by 1 point. It looked like it was going to be a blowout at one point. But Pips, for AD, this matchup, you talked about the match with Miles Turner, and he comes through big time.
Yeah, he had, I think, the season highest field goal attempts. They were just single cover and letting him cook. And yeah, amazing game for AD.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people, I'm pulling up a lot of the comments here, are really upset with Demar Derozan here. Unfortunately, this is the second time this week that Demar Derozan has been on the losing end of one of the bets that have been on the show. Terry Rozier covered this line. DeRozan, this was so weird. I didn't watch this game. I was following along, though. I think he took like 5 shots in the first half. He had like 3 points for most of the first half, not the whole first half. I didn't watch, so let's go to you, Pips. What was going on with DeMar in this game?
I don't know. It was if it was some collective agreement for the team, but Kobe White had the most shots on the entire team off the bench.
That's a problem.
Ayo
Straight up.
Desumo and Kobe White combined for more points. These two players, like these two players combined for more points than Vucevic, Lavin, and DeRozan together. And
wow,
yeah, so I was watching the game and watched the entire game, obviously, and energy, zero energy. Like they were just like it's like someone made them to play the game. Like didn't want to be there. Like so the stuff with the Chicago Bulls. Not only DeRozan, Lavin had 6 field goal attempts in first 3 quarters. Like they were just not into it. Like they're just doing the work and moving on. Like just let the game finish and let's move on. Like I don't know what was the thing. Like they just didn't even try. Like Demar didn't even try. Like he was just pass. Like he was playing like it was like a pickup game. He shoots some threes and that's it. Like sorry. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like he wasn't even trying. Yeah. If he was just a little bit more aggressive, he will score 30 points.
Yeah. And DeMar's in the thumbnail today. I don't think you know, but everybody watching is kind of wondering why DeMar DeRozan is on the YouTube thumbnail. Not only is Pips upset about DeMar and his performance yesterday, Pips is upset about DeMar in another sense, as we'll be going through the All-Star selections a little bit later on in the show. But so far this season, we'll give you the full recap. It is 78-61 in the season, plus 7.5 units and 4.6% ROI. And as I mentioned, to circumvent any sort of line movement, we are going to go directly into the official pick segment on the show. First of all, we are going to be going to Minnesota with the Orlando Magic in town. D'Angelo Russell on both sides of a same game parlay here.
So we are betting the D'Angelo Russell over his 4 threes, like over 2.5 threes combined with over 3.5 assists. And if you take a look just at his numbers, like he covered this assist line this season in 38 or in 46 out of 50 games. So 92% clear rate, and Orlando Magic are low, I think third most to the guards. So great part. But this bet is mostly about his threes. But I was a bit shocked that his line is posted at 3.5, but I like 2.5 threes over. And the main reason for that is he's shooting the lights out over the last, like, I would say even over the last like 30 games. So interesting is, like, okay, he covered this line in 9 out of the last 10, and his attempts are just going up and up, and he's getting the green light to shoot. Like the last game, he shot 17 threes against the Golden State Warriors, and he made seven.
Wow.
He had an amazing
Wow.
game. Yeah. So the 2 out of the last 3 games, he made seven threes against the Kings, Sacramento Kings, the team that allows the least threes in the entire league. So yeah, that's huge. And yeah, the next game he shot 2 from 10, and that's the only game in the last 10 that he didn't cover. But he made a huge comeback with the 7 threes against the Golden State Warriors. So yeah, so interesting. Over the last 30 games, D'Angelo Russell is the best shooter in the entire league. Like, he's shooting 43% over the last 30 games, over 7 attempts on average per game. That's absurd level of shooting, considering he started the season shooting 27% in the first 2 months. So just a huge turnaround. Diallo is just shooting the lights out, and I love this combination for him. And also, this is a great spot because over the last 15 games, Orlando Magic allowed the second most threes in the entire league, and they are only second to Houston Rockets, so we don't need to even count that as the second place, because obviously Houston Rockets will be in the first place till the end of the season. So yeah, I just love this spot for great shooting form, great confidence, pulling out from all over the like pull up threes, spot up threes, everything. Like he's just knocking them out. They're falling in, and yeah, great spot for DLO.
Yeah. Russell's been playing a lot better recently amidst, I mean, he's one. I don't believe he was on that graphic for the trades. I wouldn't put it out of the possibility this guy might move on. But the way he's playing lately, maybe they want to keep on to him. I guess while we're on T-Wolves, just quickly, they've been playing a lot better recently. Karl Anthony Towns is still injured, no timetable for return. Do you think there's going to be an issue bringing Cat back into that mix, given how poorly they started this season?
I don't know. I just know that they are playing great now. They are hustling. They are trying hard. That they're fighting. They actually won more games than they lost in the last, like, I think like 16 games they won 12 yet, I think. So yeah, they are just winning games, and Kat is a great player. So I think he will help them even more. But they will need to figure out the defense with him on the floor. Like, I don't think offense will have any issues, but the
Defense,
defensive
yeah,
part.
that
And yeah,
those.
someone mentioned Slow Mo being a great player. Yeah, he always was the great player. Like,
I
Slow Mo
love
is one
slow
of the
mo.
high, yeah,
I
Slow Mo
love Kyle
is
Anderson.
amazing. Yeah,
He is so
one of the
fun to
highest
watch.
IQ. Yeah, he's one of the highest IQ players in the entire NBA league. Like,
Yeah, I mean the
yeah,
fact that he's just so slow, but he's just so you can't stop like a lot of what he does. Still, he's just that was a nice pickup in the offseason. I'm glad he's fitting in well there. But let's move into our second official play on the show here, and we are going to the Sacramento Kings for a brand new All Star, and this man is Domantas Sabonis, going straight with the points on him instead of the PRA that we went with a couple of days ago.
so we are going with Sabonis over 21.5 points, which is minus 113 at FanDuel. So interesting part of this bet is there
Pace.
is no De'Aaron Fox. So yeah, like they probably start Davion Mitchell, and I think, like, if Fox is taking 20 field goal attempts a game, I think we can expect Davion to take 7 to 8. So there is a lot of offensive usage to share. And with the way Indiana Pacers are defending, I think the most of this will go through the Sabonis. So last game, he had an amazing game, 20 field goal attempts against the Spurs, scored 34 points. 2 games earlier, he had 23 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves. He'll play 40 minutes tonight. And with 40 minutes, I think we can get over this line in a great match. It's not a great matchup. Like, it's just the way, like, there are the guys in the league that are great defensive players, but if you take a look at that's Indiana Pacers. So Miles Turner is a great defender, but if you take a look at the stats, like other teams scoring against the Pacers, especially centers, you'll see like centers are always ranked in the top 10 against the the the, the Pacers. But the reason is like some guys are like great, so he's that great that they don't help him at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's on their own inside, like doing all kinds of contesting on guards, contesting on like he's a very difficult role on defense. Like he's doing a bit of everything. Like he's there like everything on defense. So if you take a look at, so I know like I heard that many times and saw that many times on Twitter. So like someone calling Turner a fraud because when you look at the opposing center scoring against him, he was always getting cooked. But like he's not getting cooked. He's just allowing like if Sabonis or let's say Aiton Davis has 18 field goal attempts a game in there throughout the season, and he's scoring like let's say like 25 points on 18 field goal attempts. Then he goes against the Turner and he takes 10 more field goal attempts and score 5 more points. So he's below efficient and through if you compare to the rest of the season, but he scored more points. So he cooked Turner, but Turner did a pretty good job holding there on his own. So
Yep.
yeah, and I don't think Turner can have hold on his own that great against the Sabonis because Sabonis is like his strength is his like very very difficult to handle his strength and his post ups, and I just think with Turner being overwhelmed with doing all kinds of everything and with the pace the Kings are playing, I think we could see like a couple of easy layups for Sabonis. We could see maybe Turner getting in foul trouble, and then we have Sabonis like in an unbelievable matchup against anyone else. Also, Sabonis will play 40 minutes, and Turner will probably be like in the middle 30s. So 10 minutes against anyone else is like easily he can score like cleared half of this line. And if he gets like he's getting first time back to the Indiana to play the Pacers.
Pacers.
I think he spent so much time there. He's an all-star. There is no Fox. Yeah, I just like if he gets high usage and I expect it, he should clear this line pretty easily.
Yeah, so obviously, like the revenge spot isn't like part of the handicap, but it is a nice little bonus. You know, you already like the spot for Sabonis against the Pacers, and then you also have the fact that he is playing in Indiana. Funny enough, Halliburton, Sabonis traded for each other. Both of them are all-stars this season, and Halliburton looked very, very good yesterday for the Pacers. So, I think two guys with a little bit of a point to prove in that game. So I think that's going to be a very interesting game to tune into. Other part of this, I guess, is Pacers on the second night of the back-to-back, and that was a pretty grueling game against the Lakers yesterday. So hopefully this is a good spot for Sabonis on that one. All right, now we're going to move on into one thing before we move into discussion. I guess this is part of it. So a lot of people talk about DeRozan earlier on in the show. I kind of want your thoughts on like people want to put him on a so-called banned list. I'm sure you don't have anything like that. I don't think anybody is truly like super serious about that. But how do you feel about putting sort of personal biases into handicaps like that, where you just find yourself for some reason, like when I bet on this guy, I lose so consistently? Is that something that you factor into your decision making, or what do you do to go around that sort of thing? I'm interested in your thoughts there.
So I'll just be like, this will be very, very interesting. So throughout all of my betting career, I had one guy that was on ban list. And guess who is that? He was. I had one guy banned for 3 seasons.
My first thought's Nurkic. Somebody else in chat has guessed Nurkic. I know you're not a terribly fond of him. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's him
he
though.
could be there, but it's actually Demar Derozan. He was
Oh,
on
is
my
it?
bench for 3 seasons before he came to the Chicago Bulls.
Oh man.
And I wanted to ask you one question. Like, did you think over the his Raptors days,
Yeah.
that he had some mental issues?
Like from
Like,
like
it's similar to,
on court
yeah,
in terms of like decision making,
confidence.
confidence. Well, definitely because year after year, the Raptors would be such a high seed, they get to the playoffs and then they'd lose. I put a lot of that on Dwayne Casey
Yeah,
because he force fed the offense through DeMar DeRozan, and DeRozan also didn't play that well, so it's a little bit on both. But yeah, there was definitely a confidence issue as it came to playoffs, and I think we've also seen that beyond just the Raptors part. But yes, I agree there.
yeah. Like, so many times I've had like, I know I already spoke about this bet on this podcast, but that was the day that I decided to ban DeMar DeRozan. It was like some perfect matchup for him, and I was like betting 20 and a half over for him, and he had 20 at the halftime and played 19 minutes in the second half and ended up losing. And the interesting part of this is like he wasn't even shooting. Like he was hiding on the floor the entire time. And then the clutch came. Like they were up, I think, 2 points in the last like 1 minute, 3 or 1.5 minutes, and they started fouling. It was like I don't know how many they were up, but they were started fouling. So first time Demar gets the ball and they foul him. And he goes to the free throw line and miss both free throws.
Was this regular season or playoffs, by the way?
Regular season game.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And he missed both free throws. I needed only one to score him
Yeah.
for one, and I was watching. It's like 6 in the morning. Sun is getting out. I'm so tired. I was waiting for the last bet to settle.
And then go to
And
bed.
18 minutes is like 0 points. And he had 20 at the halftime. And then he gets two free throws. Okay. Thank God, thank you. Like, we got there. And he missed both free throws. Next possession, they give the ball to the DeRozan, and he just throw it. Like, he just like wanted to get rid of the ball that they don't foul him because he was afraid going to the free throw line. And the ball went like out of bounds. Like, it was like just getting rid of it.
I don't remember this game.
Then next possession, he was just hiding behind the player so they don't throw him the ball. And that was like, okay, I'm done with this guy. Like, I just can't. Like, and also there was some game like earlier. There was some game like he wouldn't just even try. He was just like obviously, if you want to bet a player, you always like looking like, okay, he's like having that usage, and he'll with that many shots he'll probably go over.
Yeah.
But you are just unable to predict the usage with Demar, because one game he'll have like 10 free field goal attempts, next game he'll have 25, and he will have 25 in a difficult matchup and 10 in an easy matchup. So he was unpredictable. So there is no value in betting that guy because he's unpredictable. So yeah, I gave up. And then he came to Spurs, and he also was like unpredictable.
He was weird at the Spurs, yeah.
And then he came back to the Bulls, and I was like, okay, I'm still not on this guy. And I saw him cooking, like taking over the games, and I bet him. And I think prior to these two losses, I was like 15-5 on DeMar DeRozan bets. But last night and the night against the Clippers, he was aggressive. He was just having a poor game. But the last night just brought back all the memories of Demar being like very passive and not trying anything.
Yeah. I'm going through the bet history for the show. DeMar DeRozan has been featured 5 times, and he is now 3 losses, so 2-3. So he was 2-1 before. Actually, let me just verify that. Wait, he's featured 6 times. It's loading in. So we've lost the last 2. Oh, he's actually 3-3. He's actually 3-3. So
So yeah, we were 3-1 before last 2 days.
yeah.
Last
So
two.
I guess what I was so Don says announce you're banning him again. I don't think you'll outright ban a guy, but I think you will keep that in consideration, I guess, moving forward. Just maybe a little bit of extra sort of thought goes into the DeMar DeRozan bets. Um, what's crazy about that story is that when he was with Chicago last year, I know the Clutch Player of the Year award is a brand new award for this season. He might have been the winner of that award had it been in play last season. So
Yeah.
it's just, I guess, there's such sharp contrast into the type of games you get from DeMar. But this season, he has been quite consistent. I did go through his box score before the show. What I kind of was hoping the answer would be for this one was that you shouldn't factor in like these bans or personal sort of biases into
Yeah.
your handicaps. That's what I was thinking. But then you went on
Yeah.
the DeMar DeRozan tangent.
Yeah, but I'm not fan of banning players at all. But if we have like I just can't find the words to explain. Like I'm not fan of banning players because you lose on them. I'm fan of banning players if they are like if you bet players in positive matchups and they are underperform and in difficult matchups they overperform. How can you bet on this guy?
Mhm.
Was like you need to have a process and the process is okay. This is a positive matchup. This is like and if that guy I usually underperforms in there if he's so I am for banning unpredictable players. Like stay away, not banning, but stay away from unpredictable players because if you don't know
Yeah.
what they are going to do when they get out, don't bet them. That's
Like Barnes, like Scotty Barnes, for example. He can score
yeah,
like
yeah,
25
perfect.
and then he can score 5 in the next game.
Yeah, yeah, totally unpredictable. Yeah. So and that's even with Nikola Jokic also. It's a bit predictable because if they are like huge favorites, he probably won't. He will have triple double, and if these are like they are underdogs, difficult game, he'll probably end up scoring 30 points because he's playing like how they need from him. Like the
Yes.
first game, like last night against the Golden State Warriors, he had 2 points in the first 10 minutes. They were up. He came back. They were down 10. Then he scored 15 points in 6 minutes. Like, yeah, that's it. That's Nikola. Like,
Hmm.
there are guys that will just take a sit back and don't force stuff. And like De'Aaron Fox, same example. He will have like 5 points in the first three quarter and then score 25 in the last when they need him. Like, it's a bit a mental game and you need to take everything into consideration.
See, for me, I guess for you, I think it's different because your handicapping strategy is very different to mine. You're very matchup oriented. You're very like kind of the way the game plays out. Where I am like almost all of my handicapping is strictly number based, mathematics based. So when I'm doing that, like I don't let that factor in because I believe in market efficiency. I strongly believe in market efficiency. So I play the numbers on certain games. So I bet into tons of sports I don't really have any sort of knowledge on, but I just bet based on numbers across different sports books. So from my perspective, I think maybe this small like start of the season, I was getting a lot of good numbers on the Lakers, but at a certain point I was just like, I'm done betting on the Los Angeles Lakers for now because they started the season like 2-10 or something like that. And I kept getting good numbers. Like I'm not betting on this team anymore. But for the most
Yeah.
part, I guess from my perspective, I don't try to factor that in because I don't want to waste a good number on personal bias. But for you, I think it's a lot more important because you are reading into these matchups a lot more. So that makes sense. I think that's some pretty good insight there. Okay, let's move on to the next piece. We'll get to the All-Stars discussion in just a second. You thought he went in on DeRozan then. Just wait till we get to the All-Star segment. Next thing Pips wanted to talk about was Dylan Brooks and Donovan Mitchell, the matchup yesterday. Dylan Brooks is already one of the most unlikable players in the league. There's a lot of people that don't like Memphis for kind of their antics, and I think Dylan Brooks is a big reason why. And I can't play the video of what he did to Donovan Mitchell because of some copyright issues, but I can show you guys the picture. If you're listening in podcast form, I will describe. Dylan Brooks is laying on the ground. He's pretty much in between Donovan Mitchell's legs, and he comes up pretty hard with his fist. And I don't think I need to go any further to where he made contact with Donovan Mitchell. the photo's pretty good. You should go over to YouTube and check this out. But this is all you want to talk about, Pips. What were your thoughts on this whole ordeal between Mitchell and Brooks?
Yeah, I just love how hard Dylan Brooks is playing, but he's an idiot. Like he made so many like dangerous plays over the last couple of seasons, and yeah, that guy, like, yo, come on, man, like, don't do it. Like, doing that and that shouldn't be in the NBA. And I hope he gets like five couple of games of suspensions for this, because I don't know if you remember last season. It was Gary. Was it Gary Payton? Who was it? Like that he smashed in the back of the head
Oh,
on transition layup.
yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but it was very dangerous play. And this is again one so stupid. Why would you do that? Like you will see it on camera, and everyone will see that. Like, and he's consistently like talking about like after the games how refs give him fouls, and I actually think he gets the most he gets the best calls in the NBA. Like he gets up with the crazy stuff. Like he fouls like almost on every possession, and it's so weird. And I'm glad that Donovan Mitchell stood up and went to fight Dylan Brooks without any fear. And yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah, commenter agrees. Javon agrees here with Mitchell reacting the way he did. Did you catch the post game press conference from Donovan Mitchell as well?
I didn't watch it, but I heard some stuff that he's like saying about.
So Mitchell in this particular game did not have a good game. I actually think he finished with 6 points, which is pretty remarkable for Mitchell. But he went a little bit in on Dylan Brooks, saying like typically, I don't know if this was the exact word he used, but he says he cooks Dylan Brooks in their matchups, and this one, I mean, he recognized that this wasn't his best game, but like you say, if this is what you got to do to guard me, like this is no place in the league. Essentially, I would recommend you guys go check out Donovan Mitchell and his comments on this. But like for the Grizzlies, like how do you deal with this? This like it's not even that high pressure of a situation. Like this is genuinely something that could cost you in a big game, maybe even in the playoffs. Like obviously, like we've talked about Jaren Jackson Jr., the foul trouble, that sort of thing. Like all that, like that's part of the game for him. But that's something that could be costly. But this is genuinely something that could cost you in a playoff setting. And we also saw last year in the playoffs, Dylan Brooks. Oh my God. Beyond his antics, this guy refuses to stop shooting the ball sometimes. So from a mental perspective as a player, like you have to be better than this. And like you said, there's cameras everywhere. They're gonna see that. And he did get ejected for this. And yeah, this is no place. I think he should get hopefully a few games for this. Like I think he should get like 3 to 5 games for this. I'm not. Like, you got to punish this. Also for a repeat offender and confirmation that it was Gary Payton II as well from that play last season. Yeah, I hate this. Like, completely off ball. Like, you're not tough. Like, you're not tough for doing that. Like, what's tough is, like Donovan Mitchell standing up. Like, I like that. And so somebody's talking about the toughest. But like a cheap shot like that is not tough. Let's move now into the final thing we're talking about, the all-star selections for this season. We're both going to have some pretty strong thoughts on the all-star spots. We'll pull it up right here. Let's go. So I'll just, for the people listening in audio form, we'll go to the Western Conference. These are the all-star reserves. We've already spoken about the starters. Western Conference reserves, SGA, John Morant, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Domantas Sabonis, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Paul George. On the Eastern Conference side, Joel Embiid, Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle, Bam Adebayo, Tyrese Halliburton, DeMar DeRozan, and Drew Holiday. And just so you guys are aware of the notable omissions that we might want to discuss here, De'Aaron Fox, Pascal Siakam, James Harden, Anthony Davis, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, and Trae Young. So those are just notable omissions. I'm not suggesting all those guys should be in the team. I'm just saying these are potential guys you may want to take into consideration. So we'll start with Pips. You had strong feelings about James Harden's all-star candidacy and maybe some negative sort of thoughts on DeMar DeRozan's all-star candidacy. What do you have to say about the reserves here?
So I'll first go with the guys that I think that deserve it 100%. Obviously, on the West, it's Shea, it's Ja, it's Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard also could be a starter, but okay, like
Curry and
he's playing
Doncic stuff.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. Curry Mercy missed some games, but okay. Like Lauri Markkanen, amazing season, playing great, but yeah, I think Lauri Markkanen is probably like the clear pick here. Like 25 points, 9 rebounds, very, 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 very efficient. Domantas Sabonis obviously like amazing season so far, well deserved. Like this guy is like 19, 12, and 7, like amazing season. And
Yep.
then we get to the Jaren Jackson Jr. and Paul George. I don't know if I agree with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Paul George selection. Like, is
If you
that
notice,
purely,
I
is
put
that
these lists in
purely,
particular orders here.
is that like defense accounted into it? Like, and like the biggest part of it being defense, like because if you take a look
I
at
kind of
them,
like, sorry to interrupt. I kind of like the like keeping that, because defense is pretty much just as important part of the game here. I kind of like that the best defender is getting rewarded. I see the you can debate his spot here, but I kind of like that they care about defense a bit. But please continue.
I care about defense in all NBA selection. I don't know if All Star is like a prime game where it's offensive, like yeah, okay,
I
like
suppose. I suppose. Yes.
yeah, I'm not against it, but when players are also delivering on the other side, because Jaren Jackson Jr. will probably get Defensive Player of the Year award, and he will also get All NBA defense, and he'll get All NBA consideration also. Like he'll get his award because of his defense. Like there are awards that get for you get for defense. Like it's not like, but I think it should be accounted in the All Star, but not as much as offense, of course. Like
Right.
I would like you said, like it's 80-20 for me, maybe even more for
I have to
offense.
say I was surprised to see Jaren Jackson involved because of this and because of the amount of time he missed as well.
Yeah. So these two guys, I don't know. Like, okay, I'm okay with them being there, but I don't know. Paul George is actually should be there. Like, how is he there over like De'Aaron Fox or Anthony Edwards?
I will say I cannot believe De'Aaron Fox is not an all-star. Like, just cannot believe De'Aaron Fox is not an all-star. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, and I think like, but 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 let's take a look at the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And did and does De'Aaron Fox has the better season than Anthony Edwards?
What was that? Sorry.
Just between Anthony Edwards and De'Aaron Fox, like
It's
their
probably
numbers.
somewhat close, but if it's like close, I am going to go with the guy who's on the team with the better record, which is Fox here in this one. Not that like I don't think team record. I think team record is a bit too
So
valued in these
Fox
all-star
have,
selections, but I think De'Aaron Fox has deserved this spot.
so do you think it's easier to play with Sabonis as Fox is playing, and the team
That's a good
Edwards is
point.
gonna play? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Yeah.
I still would you put Edwards in above De'Aaron Fox? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying like it's like almost 50-50, and both are above Paul George for me and above Jaren Jackson Jr. for me. Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah. So Aaron in chat saying the same. Anton Fox or coin toss. I would probably
They
have both in above
they
Jaren
probably
Jackson and
didn't
Paul George.
know who the one to pick, and they just went with the Paul George. Yeah,
I think for Paul George, they felt like they had to get a Clipper player. I don't like that because
I don't
like
like that.
maybe they didn't want to put in a second Kings player before they put in a one Clippers player. But even so, I feel really bad for Fox missing out. Edwards as well should feel a little bit hard done by on the Western Conference side for
So
that.
also interesting fact, uh, there is no Anthony Davis here,
Yeah,
and so
it's
one
injury. It has to be because he missed some time, but that's
I'll
another
just say
one.
one interesting fact. So this is actually a very interesting fact, and that Anthony Davis played more minutes than Jaren Jackson Jr.
That I said that, and again on Jared Jackson, I don't think he should be here either. I like that they're kind of factoring defense, but like okay, AD is an excellent
And
defender, maybe not quite that good, but he's way better offensively, right?
I think AD is probably as good as Jaren Jackson Jr. on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this season, but like overall, yes, for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
So I'll just say, like, I am probably one of the biggest Jaren Jackson Jr.'s fans in like the entire world. Like I was like huge on him, but I don't see it. But okay, like it's not crazy out like there. It has some points, but I will never pick him for an
I
NBL.
think if he was left off, I don't think anybody would have like really
Even more,
gone, oh my god, he should have made it.
he
You know
wouldn't
what I
be
mean?
even in the subs. Like
Sorry, what was that?
he wouldn't even be in the snubs. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
saying. If he wasn't here, he wouldn't have been in my notable omissions at the
yeah,
bottom. Nobody would have gone Jaren Jackson Jr. snubbed or anything. So
yeah.
I think that's great. But I think like anybody else, if you take them out, people could maybe say one thing or another. Actually, we'll go to the East now. One player that I also don't think people would have mentioned as a snub if he was not on this list. Drew Holiday is an all-star. I like Drew Holiday. We've talked about his point of attack defense. I don't think Drew Holiday has been all-star level this season. And I think the East has a lot more guys who I think we're deserving here. I don't know how you feel, but I definitely go with all of Siakam, Harden, and Brunson before I go with Drew Holiday. Like I respect these players. They're all great players. But I put all three of those guys in ahead of Drew Holiday. DeMar DeRozan, I'm putting those three guys ahead of DeMar as well. Like definitely. And I think Halliburton is an all-star, but I feel like you could easily make the case that Siakam, Harden, or Brunson are also in there ahead of him. I'm a Raptors fan. I'm really, really sore about Siakam missing out. He's 25, 8, and 6 this season. He has played, like he's missed very few games relative to especially other players in this list. It's just the record. That's the problem for sure. The Raptors are 23 and 30. But the Raptors are one game back of the Pacers. Halliburton's here, and they are 2 games back of the Bulls. I recognize Siakam would have been on the worst record for a player to make an all-star game here, but I really feel like that is an argument that is only relevant when you're trying to find a reason why he shouldn't be an all-star. And I think that's what was found here. Siakam's been so good. I feel really upset about that. How do you feel about the Eastern Conference side, though? Let's go to you.
I will maybe say that's even worse than the West. First of all,
Yeah.
I heard you like mentioning Jalen Brunson so many times, and I don't agree with that at all. I don't
Oh
think
no.
he should
Okay.
be even into consideration because he's nowhere near like players like Harden, Siakam, and Fox, and everyone on this list. Like Trae Young is like more deserving than Jalen Brunson because Trae Young has 10 times better stats and he's the same efficiency as the Jalen Brunson, and that's very overlooked in the NBA, and that's true shooting percentage that is the most important like efficiency data, and Jalen Brunson and Trae Young are on the same like level. So people never look into that. They just look at field goal attempts, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. But it's way deeper. And Jalen Brunson is like average efficiency, league average efficiency, same as the Trae Young. So I would like if you take a look at pure numbers, points, rebounds, assists, especially points and assists. Trae Young is so clear of Jalen Brunson that it's not even like worth talking about.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
like Trae Young is also above almost anyone on this list. He should be an NBA All Star. Like you can just average like 27 and 10 and don't be an All Star. Like it's just that players and coaches don't like Trae Young, and that's it. Like that's the reason. He's
Yeah,
not like
I
the guy.
think you're right
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like Trae Young, like it's absurd. Like Trae Young. Also, I don't know if you know that, but Trae Young is also more efficient than Pascal Siakam.
which
If you
is
take a
which
look
is
at
which is crazy.
yeah, because yeah, it's amazing. And Trae Young is 27, 3 and 10. Like I don't think there was anyone in the history of the NBA that wasn't an All-Star with 27, 3 and 10. That's outrage. Like 27, 3 and 10. Like on a team that's at 500 above and 500 and above winning record. Like it's not that they are like 50% winning. Like that's and being 27, 3 and 10 guy on league average efficiency. Like what what's going on there? Like that's outrage.
Hmm.
Also, James Harden. Like Tyrese Halliburton is having an amazing season, but is he better than James Harden? Like, okay, but what numbers?
No,
Like points? No. Rebounds? Hell no. Assists? Hell no. Efficiency? No. Like, what are we doing here? Like
the
76.
Halliburton one feels very narrative pushed. Like
Yeah.
I recognize how good he's been. I feel
I
like
love Tyrese Halliburton. Like,
he
but
has not been as good as Harden this season, and Harden is also on like a top tier team in the NBA, and he's a big reason why. Like I don't want to push record too much, but like Harden has just straight up been a better player than Halliburton this season.
yeah. But it's obviously Harden playing like having like below his average season and Tyrese Halliburton being like pushed so by media because he's also actually great player playing amazing, but like it's like he's playing above expectations, Harden is playing below expectations because Harden expectations are set ultra high. But yeah, this is also great by Javan. Like I don't know, like as I said, better. So he has better stats like points, rebounds, assists, efficiency, and defensive stats. There is no single stat in the league that Tyrese Halliburton is better than James Harden, and that's crazy.
Yeah. I would definitely have. I mean, Harden should have made the team, like straight up.
And
Um,
Tyrese Halliburton is still better than Demar Derozan and Drew Holiday.
yeah, I put the list in order of how strongly I felt about their all-star candidacy. So I agree with that one as well. Harden, big miss. Fox, big miss for me. I still feel very strongly Siakam is a big miss here. I think you kind of put me on to the Trae Young thing here. I also feel Edwards should have consideration. I think Edwards is a bit of a miss, but there's always going to be misses. So people are asking in chat, and I was actually going to bring this up myself anyways, but there's questions of if they should go to 15 man rosters for the all-star teams. So I'll start off here. Personally, I like that it is such an elite class of players that make the all-star game. I like it as it is. I recognize that in like, decades ago, the league was way smaller and teams weren't even that much smaller than what they are now. So the percentage of players that used to make the all-star game were much higher than it is now. But I do like how it's an elite class of players. And I think no matter how big the roster is, there's still going to be guys you feel like were omitted from the team. I guess somebody took it. I spelled omissions wrong. So I just realized that's been up for like 10 minutes. Beyond that, please ignore that. I like that it's an elite class here. There's always going to be players you feel like should have made it. But we'll wrap up on this thought. Do you think the NBA should look to expand, or do you kind of agree with me?
I think I think either way makes sense. Like if you want to just
Okay.
go to the traditional part and being failed players, so it's okay. But if you want to expand, you have a good arguments for it. So I'm like okay with either way. But if you have, but the thing is, this has a huge effect on the on the contracts and bonuses and everything. So I think not in the owners like favor of league moving to 15. So we
Yeah,
probably
that's a good
won't see
point.
that. So we probably won't see that. But if we see that, I think it's okay for a guy to. That's like if he had like three additional players, I don't think we'll talk about anyone being underdeserving here, and we'll still have players that didn't make it but had amazing seasons. So if we have like I don't know Trey Young or I don't know De'Aaron Fox playing 10 minutes in an All Star game, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Even with 12, like Fred VanVleet made it last year and played like 6 minutes in the All-Star game. I don't think these guys care too much about playing in the game. It's just the
Being there.
accolade on your resume. And for contracts, that is a big deal. And like just because I'm more in tune on the Siakam situation, he is fighting to get a super max. It becomes super max eligible this season. I don't think this factors in. He's looking for the All NBA appearance would make him eligible for Supermax. But yeah, these things do come into play. So it's a little bit unfortunate when guys miss out. But we've talked about our omissions and we've talked about kind of how we thought it should have played out. But it is what it is. There's a lot of people who are making these decisions. So nothing we can do about it here. But I think that is pretty much it. Long show today. There was a lot to talk about. You have
It's
something else?
not. Sorry, I need to make a bet.
Oh,
That, yeah, I'm just trying to match things so
oh,
we can have
we have another bet coming.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
I didn't want to.
I'll just we can take a moment. I'll just write you in the
Yeah, yeah.
chat.
I'll talk for a second. So we have an official bet coming here. I didn't want to tease it before the show. Pips did say he was going to be looking for another spot during the show, but I didn't want to say make sure you stick around to the end of the show in case he does come up with it, because then if he didn't, it would look bad. Like, oh, you're just trying to bait us into watching the show, sort of thing. But he did mention that right before the show, the third pick that he had did move off of its line. And over the course of the show, he was going to wait for those to come back up. And I say, just message me privately and I can put up a graphic for that. So stay tuned just a second here. I am aware that Terry Rozier is going to be involved. We have had more involvement on him this season. So we'll see what that looks like. I believe this is in the Hornets game against the Pistons. So this is just going to be not a fun game to watch. But hopefully a good betting play does make this one a little bit better to watch, and some end of show treats. Yeah. So rewarding the people who stuck around here to the end of the show. And we are experimenting. So the reason we had previously always done, I'll be transparent. We're a business at the end of the day. And we wanted to make a good show, but we wanted to entice viewership to stay till to the end of the show to make sure they get the picks. But what I realized last Friday was that I think that we have a really good community, really good viewership base for you guys that we appreciate, that have enjoyed the content and just enjoyed the dialogue overall. So we appreciate everybody who's been supporting the show so far this season and has enjoyed just the dialogue pieces, rather than like a lot of people are just looking for, give me the pick, like 15 seconds in and out. I want the pick and I'm done. And sure, there's going to be some people who are looking for that sort of thing. And there's other methods in which you can receive that. You can just go to the recap end of the show. You can go to the bet stamp page. But we do like that we have also sort of built up this space where we can talk about things on the show like this. And like we appreciate this as well, because we did this show last Friday, which was at the time the most viewed show on this channel, and there weren't even any picks involved. So we appreciate that. And I'm glad at least to see that there's people here that are interested as well in the rationale behind these sort of bets, rather than just give me the pick. I don't care. I just want what you're betting so I can tail and have some action. So we love that. Appreciate that. And now we do have the official pick up on screen. Hornets Pistons. Terry Rozier is the man, along with Jaden Ivey. No Killian Hayes. Here we go. Take it away.
So, yeah. So I wanted to bet this as over 21.5 before the show. It was 21.5 at FanDuel, and it was on Barstool, and it was, I don't know, like points bet or something, 21.5, and I was waiting DraftKings and BetMGM to open, and they opened it at 23.5. So it kind of immediately moved on FanDuel to 22.5. So I needed to come up with this pick. And Jaden Ivey cleared this line in, I think, 15 out of the last 16 as a starter and playing 25 more minutes. Killian Hayes is on the bench, so it was a lot more responsibility for creating for Jaden Ivey. As I said, he cleared this line in 15 out of the last 16 games as a starting guard that got the minutes. Last game he didn't clear it, but he was fouled out with 20 minutes against the Dallas. So he had 3 assists. So if he gets 10 minutes, he will clear even in terrible matchup as the Dallas was. So obviously, Charlotte Hornets are the best matchup, one of the best matchups in the entire league, as they allowed over the last 15 games. Even if you take a look, so over the last 30 games, Hornets allowed the most assists to assists per game, and third most to opposing point guard. So it's perfect. And Terry Rozier is finally playing great, shooting great. We had him on this show, and yeah, last game it was Kelly Oubre playing. He shot, I think, 25 times, and Terry Rozier still covered this line. He scored 25 points. So yeah, perfect matchup. A lot of focus on LaMelo, and just love this. And I also want to thanks everyone for watching this. Please like these videos. Please subscribe to our videos. We are doing like very consistent work. We are also winning, but besides winning, I love to talk about basketball. I will when I was like a couple of years ago, I always like thought about creating a basketball podcast talking about the NBA and having betting like separate. So being able to do both of the things on the same show is like great for me, because that's the 2 things I love the most: betting on the NBA and talking about the NBA discussions and entire league. So this is like dream coming true, and like I just enjoy this. I'm looking forward to this every day. And yeah, Jacob is like amazing host. I'm so like great and like honorable to be with him. He has also a great channel on Toronto Raptors, and please guys, if you enjoy the NBA content and love Toronto Raptors, go visit it. It's amazing. And yeah, yeah.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for the kind words. I also love doing this show as well. Love getting involved in more NBA discussion rather than just Raptor specific. Great outlet to do that. And we have such a great community that has supported us. But you heard the man. Smash that like button, subscribe, rate and review 5 stars, and check out the hammer.bet for more content across all sports, not just the NBA. And hopefully we have a good weekend. We can cash these picks. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see you guys there. Thank you once again.